It's necessary, but we don't have a situation where you are welcomed with open arms, you are given opportunities, or if you create a new platform or join an existing credible platform like Loksatta, for instance, that people will give you a chance immediately, because we still don't have conditions. A democracy takes time to mature. I wish I could tell you, you can do it in one day. It's a generational effort. And we must have that perspective. Other countries too went through this process. Each country has its own unique set of problems, but the broad nature of problems we all can understand. India too has these problems. There are three special problems in the Indian context. A lot of money, power to buy the votes in most parts of India, particularly where you sit, in the southern parts of the country. And we have this arrogance that we are better states in the country, which is rubbish. We are the most corrupt, and we are the ones who spend most money in politics. There may be a few other positives because of our ancestors, our forefathers, no thanks to us. Western states are now equally bad. They have learned from us, mostly. Some of the northern states are getting worse. Even a state like Jammu and Kashmir, even northeastern states, enormous money flows. Vote buying has become now endemic. The only good news in all this is the northeast and Jammu and Kashmir also have become so indigenized that they will never secede from India. Because if there's vote buying there, there's corruption there, the fundamentals of India are universal, then I suppose we will all hang together. But there are serious issues. Vote buying, an enormous expenditure does not guarantee victory. But if you don't participate in that, if you say, look, I will not buy the vote, then almost certainly you will be defeated in most parts of India. An occasional individual in a unique situation in a place, some people may get elected, but generally we don't have conditions conducive. Challenge 2. Dividing society on caste, region, religion, language is the easiest way of mobilizing vote in a society with very primordial kind of values. Because this clannishness, tribalism is very common in India. So for political mobilization, whatever appeals to people, touches their heart, makes them emotional and hang together and forget their follies, is very, very appealing. Once you say, my caste fellow should be the leader, the gunda or the murderer in that caste fellow is equal to another fellow in that same caste. I don't have to tell you people in Hyderabad, we have seen this whole Andhra, Telangana business for the past several years, and it's continuing, this drama is continuing, because like bad films, once you are addicted to a formula, it's very difficult for the producers and directors to change the formula, because the formula is very successful. And you ask them to now change it. They won't change. Now the states are formed, 2 states are there. Why should they really bother about that? Still, because the formula has succeeded, they'll continue for some more time until the formula fails. This applies to all things, caste, region, religion, language, all kinds of primordial loyalties, reservations, all these things they use as things. The third increasingly is freebies. Now, I'm all for government doing what is right for the poor, and that means education, healthcare, enhancing the earning capacities, giving them skills, ensuring jobs, better infrastructure. This is what the government should be doing. Water supply, sewerage, proper toilets and sanitation, garbage disposal, street lighting, public order, justice, traffic management. Failing to do all these, now politicians are offering free loans, loan waiver, free rice, free something else, in the name of helping the poor, actually perpetuating poverty. These 3 have become the currency of our politics. Does not matter who wins, who loses. Temporarily, if some party is unpopular, they will lose, another party will be in power. If this party loses popularity, other fellow will come to power. But broadly, the instruments they are applying for getting into power are very similar. This is the challenge. And we have to address it in a variety of ways. There are 3 ways, if you are serious about it. One is political parties, can we democratize them? Right now, in most cases, the parties are family estates. They are owned, controlled by a family or an individual. You see KCR, you see Congress Party, you see Chandrababu Naidu, you see Jagan, you see DMK, ADMK, Samajwadi. Do I have to go on now? We all know. Supposing, after all, parties are meant to be platforms for our political participation. Why do you require a party? How is a party different from an NGO? For political participation, for contesting, for articulating your ideas in the form of a political agenda, you require a party, a brand. And if that is owned by somebody as a private company, you are no longer an equal member and owner of that enterprise as a citizen, then ab initio the process has failed, because outside of political parties, hardly any serious political activity is possible. Theoretically, nobody prevents you. You can be an independent, but you are inconsequential. All over the world, it is the parties that dominate politics. Nobody has found a really effective non-party model of running a democracy. My namesake Loknayak JP argued for partyless democracy. These are all nice romantic notions. They simply never happened, and therefore they are not likely to happen. You know, in medicine, we have a dictum. An uncommon diagnosis is uncommonly right. When somebody has a problem, a sensible doctor thinks of the common problems, not the uncommon, unusual footnote problem, because that will be uncommonly right. Therefore, we must think of sensible solutions, not some outrageous, out of this world, harebrained, never before worked solutions. And therefore, let's accept political parties as a necessary evil. So can we reduce the evil? Can we make them democratic instruments of people? Depending on your own proclivity and beliefs, you can join a party as equal members. You can therefore control the party's agenda, party's leadership, party's funds, and party's choice of candidates. Supposing these four things are democratically enshrined, it's not easy. It's a wish list. The party is not going to accept easily. But we must somehow break open the system, make them accept it over a period of time. That is the first point. The second is, supposing you localize power as much as possible. Don't look at the big politics, who is the chief minister, prime minister, MLA, MP. But in my own mohalla, in my own city, in my own town, supposing funds are transferred locally as much as possible. You choose your representative locally, and hopefully people understand with time that the person whom I elected makes all the difference. Therefore, let me forget my caste and money and other silly things. My road is important because I can feel that, I can know that. Whereas Delhi and Hyderabad, I don't know what they do. It's only big talk. In a way that affects my own life, I don't know how their actions are impacting. Whereas here, the road, the water supply, the drainage, the sewerage, the street lighting, the local school and health center, hopefully, we know, we feel every day we benefit or we lose on account of their performance. And therefore, if we really allow this tier to grow, give that power, even if we commit mistakes, in time we'll choose the right kind of people, and that becomes the norm. So another area where we have to fight. I'll give one simple example. There's a place called Alandur in Tamil Nadu. It's very close to Chennai city, now actually part of Chennai Corporation. Some years ago, it was a municipality. A man called R.S. Bharati, he was elected as the chairman. I don't even know him. He is not my brother-in-law or somebody, therefore don't think that I'm marketing somebody. I have met him. I only know about his work, that's all. And I admire that work. It was a town of 160,000 population, or 140,000, 1 lakh plus population. He understood that sewerage system was not there. Sanitation was a disaster. Many people have either their household toilets and septic tanks, no septic tank, actually a pit, and it's all simply draining into open drains, or septic tanks are emptied once in a while without proper digestion. No, even septic tank has science behind it, but that science is not applied. It simply is really a cesspool. They collect it, put it in tanks, and then take it outskirts of the town and dump it in the low-lying areas. This was the standard practice. And of course, public defecation was normal. You can imagine. It's filthy, the smell, the stench is awful, the mosquitoes, the flies, the ill health, everything was bad. So this man understood that, look, this is an important thing, let's address this. He inspired the community. He collected 8 crore rupees from the small town towards the future connection charges. And because he was the first mover, many people came to support him. Ultimately, he got the money mostly by soft loans. 34 crores was raised. And they completed the sewerage system, a first-rate 150-kilometer sewerage system, within 3 years. And see the consequences. The property values that were only about 1,000 rupees or so at the beginning per yard, square yard, they shot up to 10 to 15,000 rupees in 3 years. Suddenly, it's not merely national service and Bharat Mata. It's about our own lives and our property values and comfort in life. And it became so attractive that Chennai city made it part of the city now. It became part of the Chennai Municipal Corporation. I don't know if it's a good thing. I myself would prefer many smaller municipalities governing themselves instead of being part of a 1 crore big corporation where nobody listens to you. But anyway, that's a different story. So localize power and push the system towards localization so that no, we will all then play a much more creative role, hopefully, and will improve for our own sake. Supposing you redesign the electoral system, you redefine victory. Not the fellow who gets more votes than the other fellows, but let us say the share of the vote of the party will be reflected in the seats of the party. Just reimagine. Then people will think differently because now they vote only for the two dominant parties knowing that both are rascals. Because the third party which is good is not likely to be elected. Whereas tomorrow the third party gets a decent vote, they'll get decent seats. My vote is not wasted. The voter has now changed his mind. The candidates now don't feel the desperation. The party doesn't feel desperation. Getting a vote more, a vote less is much less important than the credibility you enjoy and the kind of candidates you put up and the overall vote share. Therefore, your incentives are changed. Then the best people can come in. Look at Manmohan Singh. You may not like Manmohan Singh because he lost power, but he's a decent man. He's a man of personal morality. He's a man of scholarship, knowledge, domain expertise, the kind of people who want to see in parliament. Manmohan Singh lost in South Delhi, in one of India's richest, probably India's richest and most educated constituency on paper. Take the current cabinet. Arun Jaitley is unquestionably an outstanding person. His intellect, his integrity, his knowledge, his commitment to the country are unquestioned. You may or may not agree with his policies. Everybody won, but Arun Jaitley lost, even in the Modi wave. And I can go on and on. Take Suresh Prabhu, my friend who became a member of the cabinet recently. The poor man had to join Shiv Sena earlier because in Maharashtra, rural Maharashtra, if he wanted to survive, there was no other choice in his area. He had to join Shiv Sena if he was not a congressman. And now he had to be made a Rajya Sabha member to become cabinet member. So anybody of quality now is unlikely to be elected. Now such people who are now liabilities become assets in an alternative system. Proportional representation is one model, for instance. So we must look at those. And therefore, you must be engaged politically, join platforms of your choice, and I hope you will join only ethical and moral platforms, not merely to get into power at any cost. But understand the bigger dimension instead of merely making it them versus us. They are also victims of a vicious cycle. There are conditions why there is a degeneration in our democratic politics. Abject poverty, illiteracy, enormous social divisions of caste, region, religion, etc., a lack of sense of citizenship, a failure of basic services in your local government office. This is an explosive combination. All these led to certain consequences. Whatever happened is not accidental. It is almost inevitable because we haven't designed a system that can address these special problems and improve our democracy nevertheless. That's what statecraft is about. Building a system, addressing the challenges, changing the behavior of the players, those in power, those out of power, the citizens and the elected representatives and the bureaucracy. And in designing that, we failed. We somehow hoped you give universal franchise, say there is a free country, declare India as an independent republic, everything will be fine. No. It took 700 years for Britain to become what it is today. It took 300 or 400 years for America to be what it is today. But we don't have that kind of time. We must accelerate the process. So politics is a mess, obviously. But there are reasons. And there's a way of addressing that. Without that, merely abusing them and then trying to somehow emotionalize the issues, coming up with quick fixes, doesn't solve the problems. It's not rocket science, but requires much deeper reflection. We don't have that kind of time. I'm just trying to give you a flavor, a sense of what to look for.